Hi guys, today we're going to do a story practice with making inferences and drawing conclusions. Now remember, we make inferences throughout the story and then we connect all of those inferences together to draw a conclusion about our character. So today we're going to be starring text evidence, that's the story clues, and prior knowledge, and that's my background information that I'm bringing to the story. So let's go ahead, and I want you to follow along in the story as I read it out loud. Let's go ahead and get ready to read. We need to engage our brain. All right, this story is called The Phone Call. CJ was in the kitchen helping herself to a chocolate chip cookie when the phone rang. Her mother had gone to pay a bill. Her brother was at a friend's house. She could have let the answering machine pick up, but CJ decided to answer the phone herself. She picked up the receiver. Yeah, hello? CJ bit into her cookie and chewed. Hello? Is Bonnie Torwald there? Who wants to know? CJ's mouth was full of cookie. She sprayed the phone with crumbs as she spoke. I'm Mrs. Carroll. Is this Miss Torwald? CJ snorted. Do I sound like Miss Torwald? Wow, let's take a look here at some things that I've just read about. First of all, I'm thinking that her mouth is full of cookie and she's spraying the phone with crumbs. She seems kind of messy right there. I'm also noticing that the way that she's talking to Mrs. Carroll on the phone is not very nice at all. So we're going to take a moment just to think about what we've read and kind of summarize what we've read so far. So far, we find CJ is home by herself, and we find that the phone rings, and it is Mrs. Carroll, and she is wanting to know if Miss Torwald is home, and CJ's not responding very nicely. Let's go ahead and keep reading and find out some more information. There was a pause. Is this the Torwald residence? Yeah, but my mom isn't here right now. Sorry. CJ wandered into the kitchen to get some milk. Maybe she would also get another cookie. Would you tell her I called, please? Sure, yeah, I can do that, CJ said absently as she tried to pour the milk with one hand. Ooh, you know what? We're going to stop right now and we're going to figure out, I've got a word that I don't hear a lot, absently. So I'm going to go back in the text. CJ said absently. So this is how she said this. Sure, yeah, I can do that. All right, but she's trying to pour the milk with one hand because she's got the phone in her other hand. Okay, I'm guessing that. So she's not really paying much attention right now. Let's keep reading. The woman recited her phone number while CJ rolled her eyes. What was she, a secretary? But she agreed to give her mother the message and hung up. All right, I'm wondering if she's going to give her mom the message because she's got one hand holding the milk and she's got one hand holding the phone. I don't know when she would have had time to write the phone number down. All right, I'm going to think about what I've read so far. Let's see, CJ answers the phone and the lady gives CJ the phone number, but CJ's got her hands full, so I don't know if she's going to be able to give that number, which makes me make a prediction. I don't know that she's going to be able to give her mom that phone number either if she doesn't have the phone number. Oh, here we have stopped at our graphic organizer. Now, I want you to notice something. I have 3 colors up there because this reminds me when I'm driving. The red tells me to stop when I'm driving. So this is going to be a reminder that we need to stop when we're reading our story. When we come across some words in the text or some clues in the text that are going to help us make some sort of an inference. This is what the character does, says, and thinks. So in the story, I put CJ responds to the person on the phone in an unkind way and with attitude. She says things like, who wants to know? And do I sound like Miss Torwald? And she's rolling her eyes. So it doesn't sound like she's being very respectful or very kind here. All right, notice that the next part is yellow. Now, when you're driving and you see a yellow light, that means to go carefully or really think about what you're doing. And so that's what I want you to do for prior knowledge. Prior knowledge means that it's information that I can make a connection. What do I know about the way that somebody was acting or behaving? Well, I know that when you speak in an unkind way with an attitude, people can think that you're rude. You can be rude with an attitude and speaking in an unkind way. Now notice the last box is green. This is where I'm saying, okay, I've connected, I've stopped, I've thought about what's in the story, I have connected with it, and now I'm ready to make an inference. So green means go and make an inference. So I think that CJ is rude. Right now, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards, that she's rude. I'm not going to know until I'm at the end of the story, and then I'm ready to make my draw my conclusion. So let's go ahead and read some more of our story. Miss Torwald hurried into the house a few minutes later. "Hey, Mom, you had a phone call," CJ said as she wiped the crumbs from her face. Oh, there she is, kind of being messy again. "Oh, who was it?" "I don't know. Some lady." Miss Torwald frowned. "Did she leave her number?" CJ scratched her nose. "Nope. She should have done that, huh?" Now, this is making me think I better go back and text evidence, because I am almost positive that the lady gave her name and gave her phone number. Notice that CJ says no, that the lady didn't, but she should have done that. So let's go back in the text. Aha, there it is right there, and I'm going to highlight in yellow. It says, "I'm Mrs. Carroll." So she did give her name. Let's go and look back more in the text and see if we can find out anything about her. Aha, there it is. I went back in my text and I highlighted. The woman recited her phone number while CJ rolled her eyes. And this reminds me about that time when she had her phone in her hand and she had the milk in her other hand. So she probably did not write that phone number down, did she? All right, I think we're ready to finish that graphic organizer now because we've come to the end of our story. All right, I'm going to the stop part and I'm going to remember some things from the story. You know, when Mom asks about the phone call, CJ doesn't give her the correct information. She leaves out the details. Remember, she wanted to know about the lady's name and a phone number. CJ did not give her that information. So now I go to that green part. What do I know about people like that? Well, I know that a responsible person is honest and pays attention to details so they can tell their parents. All right, so now I'm ready to say, you know what? She did not do that. So I think CJ is not responsible. Or is she trustworthy? So I think she's untrustworthy because, you know, her mom needed some information from her and she wasn't trustworthy enough to give that information to her. All right, if you look at the bottom of the page, it says draw a conclusion. So now this is where we're going to take the inferences we made about CJ and we're going to connect those things and we're going to draw a conclusion about what kind of person she is. So we're looking for a character trait and we're going to kind of explain why. So I'm looking and I said, you know, I think she's kind of rude and I think she wasn't being very responsible and she wasn't really trustworthy. So I'm going to come down and this is my character trait. This is my drawing conclusions. I think CJ is, there's my character trait, irresponsible. Irresponsible means not responsible because she is not paying attention to the details in the phone call and she's rude on the phone. All right, she didn't take the lady's name down. She didn't write her phone number down and she's rude on the phone. So I think she's really very irresponsible in answering the phone when her mom's not home. In fact, as a mom, I would say, you know what, don't answer the phone. Let the answering machine pick it up because the person can leave all that kind of information. All right, today you're going to be working in a story and I want you to be reading your story, stopping when you have some good clues from the story like you see in the red section, record that information that is going to then help you to go over and think about it in the yellow box. My prior knowledge, start with I know. What do you know about the clue that was in the story? What kind of thing does that lead you then to the green part to make an inference? What do you know about a person that you think now can help make an inference? And then you're going to take those two inferences together and you're going to come up with a character trait that matches that. So I hope this helped out today, and I hope you'll think about the colors today. The red means stop, the yellow means think about it and connect, and the green means go ahead and make an inference. I hope you do that today while you're doing your reading.